Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon as we name our 2021 Woman of the Year. We appreciate so much you all joining us and being in the space, and we thank you for those of you who have lifted up other women in our community by naming them on our registration form. My name is Donna Jones, and I am lucky to be the president of the Chapel Hill-Carrboro NAACP. And on behalf of the Chapel Hill-Carrboro branch, I want to welcome you to our 2021 kickoff event for our Women of the Year fundraiser. Our branch has a Women in the NAACP committee who has spent their time and energy identifying our 2021 Woman of the Year, as well as planning some subsequent events that you will be invited to over the coming few months. So we thank you in advance for all of the support that you give. As you all know, not only in our community, but in many communities, women are keeping us moving and lifting us up to keep us moving forward. We know that to be the case from our past, and we know that to be the case for our future. And so this event is just a smattering of women in our community that we want to be able to identify and recognize for their contributions. And we are so lucky to be able to hear from one of those phenomenal women today, Ms. Donna Carrington, who is of CEF, which we'll hear more about shortly. And so just on behalf of myself and the rest of the branch and the executive committee, I want to thank Leah Adeniji, as well as Isabel Zellman and the remainder of the WIN, the WIN Woman of the Year committee. I thank you for all that you have done to put on this fantastic event. And with that, I will turn it back over to our host, Leah Adeniji.
Thank you. So Donna, thank you for your warm introduction. My name is Leah Adeniji. I am the chair of WIN, and I could not be more thrilled about today's program. As I go over the agenda with you, I ask you to think of the wonderful women in your life. So first of all, we will have an overview of the evolution of the Woman of the Year. After that, we will have a video and then song by the lovely Charnel Jones. From there, we will have poetry from Fred Joyner. And then I know what everyone is anticipating is the recognition of our nominees and the winners. So drum roll for that. After that, we will have our keynote speaker, Donna Carrington. And then from there, we will have our performer, Audrey Smith. And from there, we will close out. So with no further ado, I will go ahead and go over the evolution of the Woman of the Year Award. So something that was really exciting for us as we put all of this together is really transforming what the nomination process looked like, and then ultimately the execution of the actual honoring of that individual. And so, of course, the award is recognizing one extraordinary woman who has made significant contributions within the Chapel Hill and Carrboro community through their leadership and their service. And initially, back in 1955, Ms. Alexander Miller, she really came up with the concept of using it as a fundraising project. So you can feel honored in knowing that the funds that you have given are actually going to begin that genesis of fundraising, which will ultimately lead to helping the person who we have recognized as they participate on the state level. The big difference this year is that we actually had a nomination process. In the past, a person had been appointed, and those past individuals have been incredible. But this year in that transformation, it really transitioned it to being more of a competitive process and really having feedback from the people on who ultimately would receive this honor. And this is what we will continue going forth. So I want to thank everyone who was involved in that evolution and ultimately bringing us to the program today. So now I would like to introduce Isabel, who will take us to the next portion of the program, which is our Hey Queen video.
Hi. As you heard, I am also part of the WIN committee, and I'm co-hosting with Leah today. Thank you. Yes, here is the Hey Queen video, some hopefully very inspirational women to say some things.
Can't hear the sound.
I'm so sorry. We did a sound check, so I don't know what the issue is. I'm so sorry, you guys.
Our constant queen. Hey, queen. Hey, queen. Sister. Girl, you've done it again. You are constantly raising the bar for all of us and doing so flawlessly.
You do know that you're that girl, right? I hope that when you wake up in the morning and look in the mirror, you see how divine you are.
Know that so many people want what you got. You have dreams to fulfill and promises to yourself that you must keep.
I know at times you feel underappreciated and misvalued. Trust me, we've all been there.
So it's necessary that you can count on yourself.
Now, don't go seeking perfection.
Extend yourself a little grace. Don't be afraid to celebrate the little wins as much as the big ones.
You, Miss Thing, are courageous. You are dynamic. You are principled.
So baby girl, just remember, respect is a minimum.
There's a sweet justice in knowing that the path you are on was designed for you and you alone.
Doing right by yourself never goes out of style.
Everything about you is majestic and a force to be reckoned with.
Trust me, people are paying attention.
You're special and worthy of praise. Don't shy away from it.
And you don't have to get your groove back because guess what? You never lost it.
It's also important to rest. Make sure your hustle doesn't get in the way of your health. Girl, take care of yourself.
And the next time you want to second guess yourself, don't.
So pause for a second right now and relax, relate, release.
You are needed. You are appreciated.
Girl, you make me so proud. And I love you.
Remember, you are 100% that queen.
Oh, yes.
Awesome. All right, let's return to the slides. And now I am so excited to share a video with a local woman, and she submitted this. She's so generous, and she is a winner of the NC State Talent Competition, as well as an NAACP member of the Raleigh Apex, and her name is Charnel Jones.
Whatever you want, whatever you need, anything you want done, baby, I'll do it naturally, 'cause I'm every woman, it's all in me. It's all in me. Yeah. I can cast a spell, secrets you can't tell. Makes a special groove, the fire inside of you. Anytime you feel dangerous, this is me, and I will appear. So I'm every woman. It's all in me. Anything.
That was such a wonderful clip. And now let's introduce the only man of our program today. Thank you, Charnel, for your generous clip. Now, Mr. Fred Joyner, he is a poet and curator based in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. He is the Poet Laureate of Carrboro and a 2019 Academy of American Poets Laureate Fellow. As a curator, Joyner has worked with many national and international arts organizations. He is the co-founder of the Center for Poetic Thought in Washington, D.C., the chair of Artist Advisory Board for the Orange County Arts Commission. He is a board member for the American Poetry Museum, ARC Development Corporation, and a member of the Carrboro Poets Council. Welcome, Fred.
Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hi. Thank you all. Thank you for having me in this wonderful event. I'm honored to have asked Miss Tolliver asked me to read, and it's an honor. I'm going to read a few poems by women, more specifically by Black women poets. If you don't know right now, Black women are the vanguard of poetry right now, and always have been. This is a new collection by Sister Sonia Sanchez. She's a pillar, and so this poem is called Womanhood, and it's this was written. I think it was in. It might have been in 72. Moving constantly, some destiny calling out to me to explore the sea and the sky, to talk against sleeping on our knees. And I moved, eldest daughter of the womb, eldest daughter of the world, open to all Blackness, making the country keep in step to these our new sounds, to make music of a million Black souls. And I called out to prophecy to make me a woman of the beginning tribe, to make me a woman of tyrannical love, to cover our wounds. And Blackness was the order of the day. All who looked were enchanted, enchanted who they once were. And we fell upon the became ourselves. And Blackness was the order of the day. The voice of Elijah opening the door of the world, and all who came after him, poets and soothsayers, rappers and raconteurs, politicians and activists, writers and teachers sang his wisdom, and we fell down upon the earth and became ourselves. And I give birth to myself twice in 1 hour. I became like my aunt, unalterable in my love of Black self and righteousness. And I heard trumpets of a new age, and I fell down upon the earth and became myself. So I just want to share a few quick other little pieces for you. These women are not just randomly selected women. These women are my poetic foremothers. They are the women who I look to. I read something by this poet, Lucille Clifton. I read something by her every day. Just open it up. It's like, in a sense, it's like scripture. I open it up and see what he has to say to me for the day. And I invite you to check out this anthology of her work. This is a poem. What I love about Miss Lucille is that she was but she was serious. Why some people be mad at me sometimes. They ask me to remember, but they want me to remember their memories. And I keep on remembering mine. And the last piece that I'm going to share with you, this is, this is probably Miss Lucille's most famous poem. You'll see over the place, poets always read it. And it's a celebration song because of the work that not just Black women in the United States have to do, but Black women all over the world, including places where Black people are the majority, have to go through and provide for their communities and be the pillars of their communities. And so this is a poem. It's colloquially called "Won't You Celebrate with Me?" Won't you celebrate with me what I have shaped into a kind of life? I had no model. Born in Babylon, both white and woman, what did I see to be except myself? I made it up. Here on this bridge between starshine and clay, my one hand holding tight my other hand. Come, celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me, and has failed. So that's Miss Lucille, Mama Lucille. She's passed on now. Miss Mama Sonia is still with us. You definitely want to check that. This just came out. So go out and support this. Show these publishers that Black literature, that Black women's literature is essential to our being. Yeah, I'll drop it in the chat. I'll definitely do that. I'll drop links to the books in the chat. But I'm honored that you all would have me to be here. Thank you so much, and to all the candidates and the nominees. You're already a blessing to your communities and to our community. Thank you for your service, and thank you for your love. Have a good rest of the event. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred, for sharing.
Absolutely. Thank you, Fred. So now, with no further ado, we are going to start with our nominees. So as we look at these inspiring women who have been nominated because of their hard work in the community, we truly, truly want to honor them. Such incredible nominees came across, and I want to thank those who are on the call that submitted those nominations. I know that it was a lot of work, and I hope that you are celebrating yourselves as we recognize you. So our first nominee that we are listing is Anita Jones McNair. Anita was actually, in the true spirit of her service, she signed up to be part of the selection committee. And then, of course, we had to find someone to replace her. And so really excited about her as a nominee and grateful for her heart of service. As is listed, these are quotes from her nomination. It reads, "A true trailblazer who advocates for others, supersedes what is asked of her. Her spirit is one of healing, and it provides hope and justice. Her dedication to equity and community collaboration has played a vital role in transforming the cultures wherever she has found herself to be." So can we please give a round of applause to Anita for her nomination and celebrate Anita. Next, we have Paris Miller. Paris, most of us are very familiar with. She is our secretary of the Chapel Hill-Carrboro NAACP. She serves on the steering committee for reimagining public safety for the town of Chapel Hill and works with UNC's campus and community coalition to reduce the negative impacts of high-risk drinking. And so can we please also give a round of applause for Paris? She does so much work on behalf of the branch, and so very grateful for her. We now have Patricia, also known and well known as Trish Harris. I have known Trish for some time and working with her at UNC, and happy to be able to announce this on her behalf. Her enthusiasm, understanding of purpose, and dedication to public service is exemplary. She is a proven leader and a trusted creative problem solver who demonstrates the knowledge and commitment to the future of Carolina. She illustrates moral courage through conviction and advocating for the sake of social justice, despite risk, comfort, and/or societal silence. So let's also recognize Trish. We next have Barbara Jessie Black, who I am also honored to announce. She is just an outstanding human being, and I just love her. So as it quotes, she is a woman of superior moral character, high professional standards, and a wonderful humanitarian. Her ability to plan strategically and equitably highlights innovation, brave leadership, and a true vision for success. She demonstrates a keen sense of social responsibility and is willing to volunteer, going beyond the norm to assist. So maybe also clap for Barbara. Next, we have Carmen Huerta Bapat. Forgive me if I am mispronouncing at all, Carmen. Very excited to celebrate her as well. It states that Carmen has emerged as a vocal and active leader around equity and educational experiences for students of color in the community this year. Her recent run for the school board and her platform represented a critical and much needed voice in education conversations. And we know how critical education is to the future. So please let's also clap for Carmen. So drum roll of excitement to announce our much anticipated Woman of the Year, who is Dr. Deborah, who we all love and know as Debbie Stroman. So let's give a big round of applause for Debbie and recognize her for being nominated as Woman of the Year this 2021. Yes, yeah.
That's my soror. Thank you.
For this moment. Yes.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Phenomenal woman.
Gabby. We're
That
so
she is.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So I have had the honor and the privilege of knowing Debbie a year after I moved here. So I've known her since 2015. And in my first iteration with her, I was so impressed by her as a woman, what she stands for, and her passion for progressive movement and people of color. She wears every single place she goes. I doubt you'll be able to spend too many seconds with her without learning about that passion. And her tireless efforts, her unapologetic way of moving the way she does, and the impact that that allows. I mean, I'm just beaming as I mention these things. So I am so very honored to be able to present this Woman of the Year award to you. So that said, it reads, her presence and energy create an environment that fosters reflection and accountability. This type of brave leadership is what our communities need to grow, heal, and thrive. The ability to continue pushing, asking hard questions, and challenging the status quo, even during a pandemic, is inspiring. And so could not be again more honored to recognize you, Debbie, as Woman of the Year. Before we, it's okay. So the virtual aspect of things has created an opportunity for us to extend your surprise and suspense for a little longer. So ultimately, we will be delivering to you a bouquet of flowers from a local Black-owned business, of course. And in addition to that, a special surprise gift that will last a lifetime. So we didn't want to ruin that surprise for you, so you could open it and we could see your face light up when you are given that. So that said, want to give you the opportunity to speak.
Well, thank you. Wow. Thank you, Leah. Thank you to my sorors, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. But first, I want to thank God for this opportunity to serve and to also be recognized along with the many, many inspirational women nominees, those who are named and those who are unnamed, who are worthy. Women who work tirelessly for the people in our community. I'm truly honored to be in your company. I want to thank the Women of the Year Committee for your community building and also for this commitment to this important part of the NAACP. Several years ago, I updated my life mission to seek joy and to fight for justice. These principles have always been a part of my character, but I chose publicly to name it and to be intentional in how I show up. And it often makes decisions, personal and professional, so much easier. And certainly working for the vision and the mission of the NAACP and our branch is another important aspect in this alignment of my daily efforts for the liberation of Brown and Black people. And as we all know, this wonderful award and this assignment is not about me. It's about the continuation of creating awareness of the critical culture and policy war happening in our state. This Women of the Year campaign helps us to bring more attention and financial support to the much needed activism and advocacy needed for equality and equity in North Carolina. For example, in 2019, North Carolina reported the highest number of hate crimes on record, more than 200. The North Carolina Healthcare Association, which represents all 130 hospitals in our state, declared racism as a public health crisis. More than half of the people locked up in North Carolina are Black, while Blacks represent somewhere between 22 and 23% of our population. And then North Carolina is home to more than 9 KKK organizations, the third highest in any state in our country. Now, I could go on and on with more statistics, but you know the realities. You know the realities and how disturbing they are and how we have to all get involved. So I look forward to working with the Women of the Year Committee, and I'm grateful for this upcoming spirited campaign. Thank you again.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Debbie. Absolutely. So with no further ado, I will pass things on to my co-host, Isa, and she will be presenting the other honorable women that were submitted with registrations.
Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Stroman. I might need a minute to take in everything that you just said, and it was very, very moving. So as we have seen the nominated women, it is now time to recognize the family and friends of you guys, the voices of the community that matter to you. So Barbara Fushi, and the name on top will be reading the person who is submitted. Barbara Fushi submitted these two women, and she wants to honor Sonia D. Middleton, my late mother for her, well, so not my late mother for her strength and perseverance. And she would like to honor Latoya Hankins. I'm sorry also if I mispronounce names. My Zeta Phi Beta soror, who is sisterly and finer at all times. Thank you, Barbara, for honoring them. We actually have quite a lot of names, so I'm going to try and be efficient about this. Donna Jones is honoring Valerie Fushi, and she says to Valerie, your leadership is an inspiration to us all. Dolores Bailey, thank you for being the epitome of a bridge leader in our community. And to Danita, she says, thank you for encouraging young women to step up and claim our power. Dolores Bailey would love to honor Paris Miller, Woman of the Year nominee. I personally have been working with Donna Jones for the first time, and I'm so proud to say that she won a UNC Public Service Award for her leadership with UNC and the Chapel Hill-Carrboro NAACP, and this event could not happen without her. So thank you, Donna. And Donna Jones would like to honor some names. There are probably quite a few repeats you guys are going to see because everyone is just so excited about everyone else. So, so Donna is honoring and recognizing Patricia Parker, Trish Harris, Lori Clark, Carmen Huerta Bapat, Dr. Charla Blumel, Elmira Mangum is honoring Debbie Stroman, Marilyn McLean, Barbara Fushi, Felix Last is honoring Isabel Zellman Parnell, and Paris Miller, thank you for recognizing Danita Mason Hogan, Dolores Bailey, again, Lori Clark, Trish Harris, thank you for recognizing Brooke O'Neill, Dr. Shauna Harris, Trinette Cooper, and you guys won't believe there's another slide of names. There's just so many wonderful people who have been pillars in the community, so I'm gonna keep reading. Wanda Hunter, sorry. Wanda Hunter is recognizing today Danita Mason Hogans, Gloria Thomas, Karen Reed, Lori Clark, Barbara Fouché, and Cecilia Miller. And there are some also names that are just, you know, thrown into the universe, unlisted. Betty Curie, Donna Jones, Diane Jackson, Anna Richards, and finally Kim Talikoff. So these are all people who I would love to meet someday, and you guys are inspiring to all of us. And it is with all of you who are here and all of you who have these other women behind you that is helping us move forward in this community. But without further ado, let's move on to a person with a voice. It is our keynote speaker. It is Donna Carrington, you guys. I am so excited to hear what she has to say. But first, the bio. Okay. Donna Carrington is currently the Executive Director of the Community Empowerment Fund, a local nonprofit organization that is working to end the racial wealth gap by having one-on-one relationships with members to achieve their own financial goals. She has been a former NAMI Orange County NC board member and has trained to facilitate their NAMI peer-to-peer course, NAMI Basics, Parents and Teachers as Allies, and can facilitate the NAMI Connections peer group and the family support group. She has 4 children and spends her spare time advocating for people and various causes, which include homelessness, mental health, and financial well-being. Thank you for your voice today, Donna. And yes, please take it away.
Thank you, Isa. Lord, this is a lot to have to follow. I would like to begin my speech today with a quote from Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. The most beautiful people we have known are those who have known defeat, known suffering, known struggle, known loss, and have found their way out of the depths. These persons have an appreciation, a sensitivity, and an understanding of life that fills them with compassion, gentleness, and a deep loving concern. Beautiful people don't just happen. Chapel Hill-Carrboro chapter of the NAACP for asking me to be the keynote speaker for your 2021 Woman of the Year celebration. It is truly an honor, and honestly, I was questioning why I was chosen. As I thought about this year's theme, I came to realize that I'm also part of a vast community of women, especially Black women, who are moving towards a more equitable community for ourselves, for our families, and for our children. We as women are resilient and whole. When I think of the strength and courage it takes to be a woman in this community, especially a Black woman, I am in awe of all we are doing. We are the support staff in the hospitals. We are the public transit and school bus drivers. We are the cafeteria staff who, in COVID, are literally making sure our children in this community get fed. We are the grocery store workers and essential restaurant workers who have kept businesses running through COVID. We are women like our CEF Chapel Hill Office and Community Organizer, Yvette Matthews, who keeps everything and everybody going. Thank you for being who you are to our office, to our community, and especially to me. We are the teachers and school staff like Carla Smith, who led our parent university parents through a truly engaging book study and is always a great support to parents and helps us advocate for our children. Thank you for showing me and other parents leadership and consistency. I also want to thank my coach and friend, Lashana Austria, who has shown me time and time again what it means to be real, authentic, and confident in your values. She has truly brought me what I needed in my life, a Black woman who sees me as I truly am. We are the parents of our children, young and old, who are trying to make sure that our sons and daughters get home safely at night. We are fighting for them in our schools and in this society that doesn't necessarily care about us. We are those women who may never get rest and have to rely on our faith more than anything to get through. Sometimes we are women like me who have struggled through divorce, abuse, homelessness, great financial personal loss to get to a place of being able to become an executive director at a nonprofit, fighting to help people that our community tends to throw away. Carla Smith, our Chapel Hill-Carrboro City Schools parent university leader, had parents who attended the recent book club do a DNA poem about ourselves, and I'd like to read mine. I arise from West Virginia, Civil War history and rolling mountains, living in a holler every summer, and the smell and feel of coal dirt. I am not an angry Black woman, because I won't let you treat me any kind of way, because I'm the most knowledgeable in the group, because I know how to say no and mean it. I believe she is a piece of broken pottery put back together by her own hands. Survivors are truly winners. Love will always overrule hate. The fight is worth it. Resilience is in my DNA. I am not a single story. I'm a multifaceted human being. I am love, pain, joy, tears, fears. I am an executive director of a nonprofit organization. I am kindness. What is not in my DNA is hate, anger, or disloyalty. Love is in my DNA. My children are my heart. My friends are a chosen family. My job is my life. The people who know me best would have always said that I was an example of strength and courage. I've always fought to make sure my children had the accommodations they needed in our school system, because if I didn't, who would? Our Black and brown children are not treated well in a school system where the biggest achievement gap is for our Black boys and men. Our Black and brown girls are struggling with self esteem and trying to find their place in a system that acts like it doesn't want them there. I've tried to be an example to many of the children that my children bring into their lives, whether it's a meal because they're hungry or an ear when they need someone to just listen. There are many grandmothers, aunts, and sisters in this community doing this for our children every day who don't get recognized. And I want to thank them because they are what is holding our community together. There is nothing special about me or my story. I am the daughter of an electrical engineer and a labor and delivery nurse, and grew up in Durham, North Carolina, and spent summers in West Virginia, where the majority of my family resides. I grew up in a middle class, mostly Black neighborhood, and I went to local schools. My dream as a senior in high school was to attend UNC Chapel Hill. Education had always been instilled in me and my brother as a means to a better life and job. I was accepted into every college I applied to, and in the fall of 1989, I was off to UNC. For many reasons, I did not complete college. I did 3.5 years. My life experiences made it hard to finish, so I went into the workforce, started having children, got married. You would think I had the idyllic, perfect life. Dreams and reality tend to bump up against each other. My husband and I separated, and I found myself homeless with 3 young children. We ended up in a local shelter in Durham, and I started to rebuild our lives back one step at a time. That was when I learned how important it was to become financially independent and to be educated about financial manners. I began with Community Empowerment Fund as someone who needed managing with my own financial life. What I found was a community of people who wanted to help others be financially secure. I started with CEF part time, which grew into a full time position. As CEF started to wrestle with what it meant to be racially equitable and trauma informed, we as an organization realized that it was important to recognize that lived experience and racial representation was important. And in March 2020, I became the executive director. It's important for me to lead my organization to be an anti racist community and to do work towards ending the racial wealth gap. I want to work towards living in a world where there's pay equity and financial equity. I want everyone to have support in education that empowers them to have financial stability. The people most affected by financial insecurity are Black and brown people, especially women. I want to help change that person by person in ways that are good for them. If I could give some advice about what we as women, as Black women especially, can do to help others have strength and be courageous, it would be this. We need to learn good ways to save. We need to have good jobs, education, and buy homes. We need to have courage to ask how and why. And we need to expect that we can have what other people have. We need to ask help of each other and support each other. Make relationships with other women of color in your communities and lift each other up. Ask what you can do for them. Be an example to other women and share your knowledge of what and how you're doing it, especially with our young women. Support rather than separate. Guide and direct rather than tell. Be a solution. I'm going to end with another quote. She is a beautiful piece of broken pottery put back together by her own hands, and a critical world judges her cracks while missing the beauty of how she made herself whole again, by J.M. Storm.
Thank you, Donna. Will everybody please give a warm round of applause? Thank you for sharing your voice and the importance that words can have and being a leader to us all right now. So without further ado, I will introduce the last performance of the evening with A Dream Smith, and I hope I pronounced that correctly. I'm so excited to see what A Dream has for us today. Yes, please welcome. Oh, wait, let me do the bio. A Dream is a multidisciplinary artist who is always exploring new ways and mediums to express herself through movement, performance, and film. Previously a New York-based actor, she is currently training to receive her Master's of Fine Arts at the UNC Chapel Hill Professional Actor Training Program and is also a resident actor for Playmakers Repertory Company. Thank you, and take it away.
I'm not sure if A Dream is here yet. I don't see her on the participants list.
Thank you, Donna. While we are waiting for her and hopeful that she will be attending, I wanted to take a moment to humbly mention that there was 5 individuals that Dr. Stroman had listed for honor, and I want to go ahead and state their names. So if you all will give me a second, I will put their names in the chat and want to state them now. So the first one is Marilyn McLean. Second, we have Soteria Jefferson. Third, we have Dr. Elmira Mangum. Fourth, we have Dr. Sibby Anderson Tompkins. And last but not least, we have Jennifer Evans. So wanted to recognize them as well. And thank you, Debbie, for listing them. We appreciate you. So if we want to take a short break to see if we can get a hold of A Dream, we will be back after these messages.